Marvel Rivals is one of the most fun shooters I've played in a while, but for new players, it can be very overwhelming. And with Season 3 bringing Phoenix and Blade, I'm sure there will be not only returning players, but brand new players who are fans of those heroes. So today, I'm going to share 10 essential tips that will make your climb easier and save you from making the same mistakes everyone else does. So whether you're new or already grinding rank, these should help you level up your game. Let's get into it. The first tip, just don't be a one-trick. Marvel Rivals is built around counter picks and team comp. There's 39 different heroes and they all have their own unique roles and purposes in the game. It's totally fine if you have one hero specifically that you enjoy and you play them the most, but it's good to learn at least 2 heroes for every role so you can flex when your team needs it. As you climb the rank ladder, once you get to gold, your main could get banned out. Somebody else could lock your main and not swap. So it's just always good to have options so you can still provide value to your team. Plus, I don't know about you, but the game's not very fun when I'm being countered, my main got banned, or someone else is playing my main and I just can't provide any value to the team. I don't know how to play anyone else. That's not very fun to me. I know everyone's different, but I think it's kind of silly to just load up the game and think that you're going to be able to play the same way every single time. Now, tip number 2 is going to be to prioritize positioning over aim. Look, I came from Valorant. I played the game for years. I love a good flick shot. I love feeling like I just got cracked ass aim and I could hit anything. In Valorant, positioning matters too, but good aim can bail you out of a lot of different situations. In Rivals, it's a lot different. Positioning is what's going to win you most of your game. Of course, you have to be able to hit your shots, but if you're able to play cover, hold high ground, play corners, and overall just playing in positions where your teammates can see you, you can avoid being dove, just being hyper aware of not only where you are at, but where your teammates are at, so you can understand which parts of the map need taking base, which parts need to be given up. These are going to be the difference makers in your games. It's not going to be what your aim training scores are. It's not going to be how many headshots you can hit on Hela and Hawkeye. Like, of course, on especially heroes like that, it can have a lot of impact, but if you're playing in bad positions, you're just going to get targeted and you're going to get killed more often than you're going to get value for your team. Now, tip number 3 is going to be to understand ult tracking. Ult tracking is kind of guessing and just having an idea when the enemy is going to have their ultimate. And this is why playing other heroes can sometimes be useful in this situation, because if you have a diverse hero pool, then you kind of know how fast people generally charge ultimate. Every hero can charge their ultimate at a different pace because they all have different ult charge costs, right? There's a number in the game on the back end that says once you hit this number, you have your ultimate, but every hero's is different. But let's say you're a Luna Snow player and the enemy has a Luna Snow. You will kind of have an idea on when she has ult based on where your ult is at. And this can fluctuate and vary based on how much damage your team is dealing out versus how much damage their team is dealing out. If you feel like your team is bullet sponging and you're charging ult fairly fast, it's probably safe to assume that you're going to have your ultimate before she does. And you can switch that vice versa. If their team is soaking up a lot of damage and not really dying, then you can assume that their Luna will get their ultimate before you get yours. And with information like this, you could use that to your advantage. Ult economy wins fight because one well-used ult or one well-countered ult can literally flip the entire game. Now, for tip number 4, this sounds basic, but it's huge. You need to be watching the kill feed. The kill feed tells you everything you need to know in terms of when to fight and when to not. Did your tank die? If they did, you probably need to back out or give up a little bit of space. Did someone on your team die and then someone on the enemy team die? It's okay, you can keep going as you were. Or did you get a pick and are you up numbers? Well, then it's time to engage. You need to push a little bit harder, call people to take space, things like that. Being aware of numbers is a huge concept that a lot of people still don't quite comprehend. I see so many players ignoring it and running in a 5v6, and you just need to stop doing that. In most situations, you're not going to win that, especially if you're, not keeping track of ult economy, like the last tip, because if they have support ults, especially in a 5v6, you're most likely not going to come out on top. Number 5 is probably my biggest pet peeve, and it's that you need to communicate. You need to use your goddamn microphone. It's probably a little different on console, but I play on PC, and I know damn well that these people who can afford a $1,000, $2,000 PC, they have microphones. If you're on PC and you don't have a microphone, comment down below why, because I'm genuinely curious how the hell you can afford a setup and not a mic. Comms are just an essential portion of the game to just relay information to your teammates on, who's low. It's super easy to hyper focus on certain parts of the game, but even then, you don't always necessarily need a mic. You can use text chat, you can use pings, you can mark flankers, call targets, especially the pings part. Like, even a couple of pings can help your team focus the right target, especially if like you have audio and you hear someone flanking, right? If you can't call that out, you just turn around and you just ping danger like consistently. Eventually someone's going to turn around and they're going to be able to, if not ward them off fast enough, target them with you while you're getting dove. So please just start communicating. For the next tip, it's kind of gonna roll back to being diverse in your hero pool, but less in actually being able to play them and more in just understanding them. Understanding how each character works is going to be huge for counterplay. You will not win every matchup by brute force. If you're running Spider-Man and the enemy team is running the Thing, Scarlet Witch, Namor, Rocket, Cloak and Dagger, I'm sorry, but you're fucking not doing anything that entire game. But there are people who see that and they don't swap off. They try to force it. And it is super, super important to just know your counters and know how to counter, right? If you're struggling going up against a certain character or a certain hero, knowing what they're weak against is going to be really strong for you going forward in your climb. And overall, it's just going to make your gameplay experience a lot easier. Now, lucky number 7, I want this tip to be kind of about your mental because I think a lot of people don't take it as seriously. You need to stop tilt queuing. All right, it's super tempting and really easy, especially in Marvel Rivals with the length of games, to just hit Q right after a loss. Right? In Valorant, it's like a little easier to call it because games are so much longer. They're 40 minutes. CS games, 40, 45 minutes. But Marvel Rivals is short. Like these games at max last like 15 to 20 minutes if you go into overtime. If they're stomps, they're lasting like 6 minutes. But we all know that the EOMM, the engagement optimized matchmaking, exists. It's real. And if you're on a loss streak and you're tilted, it is especially real. And you need to just stop queuing. Take a break, watch a replay, do a VOD review, see where you went wrong, play some quick plays or something, log off, go watch, I don't know, some TV. Queue when you're ready to focus again. Your MMR and your sanity will thank you. For this next tip, I think a lot of players undervalue it. It's going to be understanding the ban phase. A lot of players will have certain heroes that they think are really, really annoying, even if it's not something that counters them specifically. For example, like you could be Spider-Man or a BP player and you could just absolutely hate Wolverine players or something. They don't usually mess with you because Wolverine has not even close to the speed to even touch you. But there's situations like that. There's players out there that exist, like a Spider-Man that hates going against Wolverines for some reason. And in the ban phase, we'll just ban them. Even if someone on their team is hovering Wolverine. The ban phase is specifically meant to give your team an advantage. You want to ban heroes that counter the heroes that your teammates want to play. I see a lot of people treat it as like we want to hinder the enemy team. They use it to their advantage, but not to give their team the advantage in terms of counterplay, more so to just handicap the enemy team. Yes, that's kind of valid. There is some merit to that, but that's not the only way to do it. There's a lot of people that use trackers to see what people play to try and handicap them. I think that's basically cheating and super cringe. But in general, just understanding the ban phase more and being more strategic with it is going to benefit you in the long run. So yeah, just be smarter and pickier with your bans. The second to last tip I want to give you is kind of to play off of tip number 2. Prioritize verticality and cover. Always. This entire game is built off of applying pressure and forcing cooldown. And if you're not taking advantage of off angles, high ground, flanks, just like playing off to the side and just forcing people to target you and use cooldowns to get you out of position while you then in turn just leave that spot and then go back to your team. These playstyles are going to be the difference maker between, you know, staying hard stuck in gold, plat, diamond or climbing to GM Celestial Eternity. The maps are huge and there's so many options for how to play and people just don't use them to their full potential. And the final tip I'm going to leave you guys with is to play to your role. What exactly does that mean? Playing to your role. Well, you have vanguards, you have duelists, and you have strategists. But every character has different playstyles and also sub roles. For example, Mr. Fantastic is a good example. He is a duelist, but he's kind of like a sub vanguard, right? He's extremely tanky. He doesn't dish out a whole bunch of damage or have crazy mobility, but he does do a good amount of damage and he has great sustain and team support. So understanding these subclasses for certain heroes, it will be huge for your gameplay because there's going to be games where maybe you have 2 tanks and a Mr. Fantastic and it's like, why? You basically have 3 tanks, a DPS, and 2 strategists, which can work in certain scenarios, but in most situations, I think 2-2-2 has the highest win percentage out of all the comps out there. And if you're playing someone like Mr. Fantastic, you can't play him like a flanker. You can't play him like you would Magic or BP or Spider-Man. It's just not going to work. Another example would be strategist. You know, you are a strategist. You're not a healer. You're a strategist. You want to obviously heal your team and keep them up, but you want to enable them as well. For example, you know, putting Snowflake on a Star-Lord who's about to ult, make it easier to heal him so that way he can't just die out of the sky instantly. Or if you're Invisible Woman and your Wanda has ult, it's super hard to get value with Wanda ult if the enemy team can see you. But if they can't, you Invisible Woman ult, you know, they can't see you. And then all of a sudden you're getting, you know, 1, 2, 3 kills because they don't know how far you are. They don't know if you're closer to them. They don't know if you're more towards the back of the ult. So sometimes it's situations like that. You can enable your team. You can make it a lot easier for them to get value. It's a team game. Don't try to carry alone. Your role is designed to do a specific thing, and you need to understand what that is. And that's going to change, you know, depending on the hero you're playing. If you're new to Marvel Rivals, I hope these tips help you win more, die less, and actually have fun playing the game. I personally enjoy the game a lot, and I would love to see, you know, it to become a little more competitive and have people actually enjoy the game and take it a little more seriously, because I think it has a lot of potential. If you want more guides, meta breakdowns, or rank tips, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with what you want to see next. Keep climbing, and I'll see you next time.